I owe you an apology, or better yet, an explanation. I know what you're thinking. Why was the last episode over a month ago? Why the sudden silence? Is the series dead? Did Goldgrind get banned? When is the next episode coming? And I'm sure there are 100 more questions I didn't even mention. So, let's clear things up. No, I'm not banned. Goldgrind is alive and well. The real reason behind the delay is much simpler. Real life hit hard. For the past 3 weeks, I've been working almost 15 hours a day, every single day. And as much as I love making YouTube videos, this series is something I do in my free time. And lately, free time was the only thing I didn't have. That said, things are slowly getting back to normal. I'm returning to a more regular schedule, which means Goldgrind is back on the grind almost every day. I'll be pushing episodes out as fast as I can. Sorry for the long wait, but as one of the songs say,
I'm only human after all, don't put your blame on me.
thank you all for the patience, the kind words, and even my very first donation. It truly means more than you imagine. Now, let's get back to business. Goldgrind Episode 8, the final leveling journey. In the previous episode, Goldgrind pushed to level 70, unlocked epic flying, and farmed a total of 50,000 gold. Today, the journey continues. We are going all the way to level 80 and purchasing our first BIS item from the Warmane store, chosen by you. If you're just joining the series, check the link on the screen to follow the full journey of this challenge from the very beginning. And one more thing I forgot to mention in the last episode. All leftover materials that didn't sell were vendored, so Goldgrind start this final leveling push with a completely empty bags. There was also one last auction sale that came through after the recording ended. First thing to do was to find a mage and buy a portal to Dalaran. All excess gold went to the mage, so Goldgrind had exactly 50k gold left in his bags. Hearthstone was set there, giving easy access to almost everything from now on. Goldgrind will return to Dalaran again at level 77 to learn cold weather flying, but until then, the main goal was to train all max ranks of both primary and all 3 secondary professions. Along the way, he also unlocked a bunch of achievements, always nice to have on Warmane, especially for daily points. Then it was time to head back to Stormwind Harbor and catch up a ship to Northrend. Here we go. The leveling journey begins once again, but this time for the very last time. Leveling in Borean Tundra is pretty straightforward. Nothing Goldgrind hasn't experienced before. The only thing that speeds up things up here is completing quest camps one by one. Since flying isn't available yet, most of the time is spent traveling on the ground between objectives. Terrain is not too bad here, pretty flat zone. There's also quite a bit of swimming for some very easy quest lines. Still, every quest gives solid experience, so nothing gets skipped. Goldgrind levels up quickly and also improves his gear along the way. The plan is simple. Always pick tanking items when possible, or choose the most valuable item reward and sell it straight to the vendor. Main stat for Goldgrind at this moment is stamina. Lots of stamina. On max level, he will start as a tank, collecting gear from dungeons or auction house, and end this whole challenge series as BIS Fury character, buying items from Warmane store. Similar to the previous episode, Goldgrind won't leave Borean Tundra until he reaches level 77. This time it's not a challenge but a calculated decision. Once he hits level 77, all quests in Borean will turn light green or grey. That also means access to cold weather flying, which allows him to fully explore Northrend before continuing questing. Exploring gives free experience, and since Goldgrind plans to farm in every zone later on, it just makes sense to unlock everything first. At max level, quests also reward extra gold instead of experience, so completing lower level quests now is simply more efficient. The first real checkpoint for Goldgrind was soloing Harold Lane. Almost 60k HP, that's no joke for a leveling character. Still, Goldgrind managed to finish the quest at level 75, without any help, earning some really nice items and an achievement on top of that. Every class questing in Borean Tundra should try this solo. If you can do it on your own, your gear and talents are working and you are on the right path. If not, that's your sign to check your setup, talents, gear, or even playstyle, and fix what's missing. The same rule applies to soloing Prince Valanar after the long quest chain. Once again, it's a solid test of your character and class at this stage of the game. Around this point, Goldgrind needed about 10 to 15 quests per level. That number will soon go up by a lot, since quests will start turning green and give less experience, and each new ding requires more experience. Still, there are plenty of quests left, so no reason to worry. The final push to level 77 came from some simple quests in Amber Ledge. A few of them would be much easier with a flying mount, but that's coming very soon. After all was done, Goldgrind headed immediately to Dalaran to do two things: sell junk to vendor to empty bags for the last 3 levels, and learn that cold weather flying. Big upgrade for Goldgrind, and every task from now on for him is way easier. Last thing before Goldgrind leaves Dalaran was to put all remaining valuable materials from bags to bank. In the next footage, you'll see Goldgrind heading back to Borean. Most of the zone was already explored from questing, but a few regions were still missing. Just enough to finish the exploration achievement and move on to the next one. In every zone, Goldgrind also farms herbs and ores, so it's double value, leveling and farming gold at the same time. One zone done, 8 more to go. Next stop, Dragonblight. Goldgrind had several quests to turn in that originally started in Borean. After fully exploring the zone and completing a few extra quests, he was already close to halfway through the next level. Honestly, this method turned out better than expected. 7 times experience is nice to have if you plan to do this. And by the end of Dragonblight, Herbalism hit skill level 450. After that, it was time for Zuldrak. In my opinion, probably one of the most depressing zones in Northrend. Dark atmosphere, ghost mobs everywhere, but that's just my opinion. Tell me what you think of this zone in the comments. Despite that, the zone is usually packed with players, mainly because of the fast arena quests, which give solid experience, good gold if you are max level, and even a few decent items. Next up was Grizzly Hills. Honestly, nothing too special about this zone. The terrain is pretty rough, especially if you don't have the Northrend flying. A lot of hills, a lot of climbing. After fully exploring the zone, Goldgrind needed only about 300k experience to reach level 78. On the other hand, Howling Fjord was surprisingly solid. Tons of ore, and I mean tons, especially cobalt. Probably because the zone feels almost twice the size of Grizzly Hills. Even though the map looked fully explored, one last area, Balaheim, was still missing, so Goldgrind had to go back and finish the exploration properly. After that, the plan was simple: Hearthstone to Dalaran, repair gear, clear the bags, and dump all materials into the bank. The next zone was supposed to be Crystal Song Forest. But here's where I messed up. That footage is missing. I only realized later that I wasn't recording when Goldgrind hit max mining skill in Storm Peaks. So let's continue this leveling and gold farming method from there. Storm Peaks is one of my favorite zones. It's heavily contested, lots of players and plenty of farming bots, but Goldgrind still managed to grab a decent amount of nodes. Another big plus is the location. Storm Peaks is right next to Icecrown, so switching zones while farming ores and herbs is quick and efficient. Now, let's pause the video for a second. Icecrown has 15 regions that count toward the exploration achievement. Each one gives around 10k experience. If we do the math, it should be 150k experience, right? Well, no. There are many extra areas that don't count for the achievement, but still reward exploration experience. And then there are a few regions that do count for the achievement, but give no experience at all. In total, exploring Icecrown plus a few mobs kill near nodes rewarded around 250k experience. The last zone on the list was Sholazar Basin, another hotspot for herbs and ores and always full of players leveling. Goldgrind got lucky with a few titanium veins here, so this zone will definitely get another visit in a future episode. After completing the final zone, the reward popped up, the Epic Explorer Stabard. First beast item, maybe. Overall, exploring all northern zones gave Goldgrind almost 1.5 levels. Not amazing XP wise, but when you add the materials on top of it, the value becomes very solid. Let's call this method multitasking, leveling and making gold at the same time. And none of that exploration experience went to waste. As you can see, Goldgrind then returned to Borean for the final push to level 80. 33 more quests had to be done to get there. With a flying mount and mostly grey mobs, it was an easy finish. And final ding, level 80. Total playtime from level 70 to 80 was about 7 additional hours. Keep in mind, around 2.5 of those 7 hours were spent purely on exploring all zones. After finishing the leveling journey, Goldgrind picked up his epic tabard from the mailbox. Next step was spending some time and a bit of gold fixing his talents for both protection and fury specs. Another quick visit to the vendor to clear all the trash items. And after that, it was time to log out. Log out and put Goldgrind's gold on the Warmane trade. At the time of recording, a bit before last Christmas, the best offer for 14 coins was around 41,500 gold. So Goldgrind listed his gold slightly above that, aiming for a quick and easy sale. While waiting for the offer to sell, some gold was invested into glyphs. Everything farmed during leveling and Northrend exploration was posted on the auction house, totaling a bit over 5k gold, including some small item flips. Then it was time to invest a bit more gold into gear. The goal was simple, easy access to RDF and future content. The main focus was stamina, because Goldgrind will need a lot of HP tanking in the future. Going from 1.4k gear score to over 3k for less than 3k gold. That's pretty cheap, right? As expected, the trade offer sold within a few hours. And very soon Deathbringer Wheels was waiting in the mailbox. And that's where this episode ends. While Goldgrind works on leveling his weapon skills, there are few important things to mention. Now that this episode is out, Goldgrind is back to farming gold for the next trinket. And after the next episode, you will get to vote on the third beast item. Sorry for not editing this video the usual way. Free time was very limited this time. I'll make sure to improve things again in the following episodes. Since Goldgrind has now earned his first BIS item, he's officially allowed to have an alt for faster gold making. The big question is, should all alts stay on one account, or should we use multiple accounts, maybe even multiboxing with 5 alts? You can vote right now on Discord. Once again, thank you all for sticking with this channel and this series. You guys are phenomenal. I'll do my best to bring the next episodes as fast as possible. Until then, see you in the next one.